if we have to let people. No. Good afternoon. Welcome on behalf of Plano Public Library. We're giving people about a minute to get into the room and we will get started. Okay, I have a couple of minutes after the hour. So let's get started here. Welcome, I'm Kristen with the Plano Public Library. You are at Roadmap to Business Success, Business Startup Success. This is being presented by Don Walter, a volunteer and a certified SCORE mentor with SCORE, which is the Service Corps of Retired Executives. They are a business partner of the Small Business Administration. This program is being recorded and will be available on the library YouTube site. Your microphone is muted, and we welcome you to share comments or ask questions through the chat function today. And our presenter will be sharing his screen as we get going. And we appreciate your being with us today.
Well, thanks, Kristen. I appreciate it. As Kristen mentioned, I'm with SCORE. We are, as Kristen mentioned, we're the mentoring arm of the Small Business Administration. We are all volunteers. So we do this because we enjoy giving back. We've had some success in the business world, so we want to share that with people trying to get a start. And at the same time, in addition to the fact that we are volunteers, everything that our clients share with us is completely confidential. So there's never any concern about that. So just me personally, I have a lengthy career in the retail world. I've been a senior executive for a number of Fortune companies. I've done startups, medium size, and also franchise operations. So I do a lot of work with people who are starting either online or bricks and mortar businesses and help them do their business plans all the way through opening their business. And even after they open their business, I assist them as they grow, as they make business decisions. So we have long-term relationships with a lot of our people. I'm going to take a minute here and I'm going to share my screen if you'll hang on for a second. Okay. So Kristen, are we sharing?
Looks good.
Okay, great.
You can just full screen it and you're all good. Okay.
So anyway, here I am, the Smart Start for Business Success. As you can see up here, we call it the Success Roadmap. The Success Roadmap is really nothing more than the steps that are required to take your business from an idea all the way through the end. So let me talk through just some of the different steps that we're going to go through today. The first thing is we're going to talk about your idea, what you need to do when you start your business idea. Secondly, how you define your target market. The third step, very important, is creating your business plan. The next is coming up with your company name and everything you need to do there. The fifth step is everything you need to do legally so that you make sure that you are in compliance with all state and federal and local regulations. And then one thing that's become increasingly important
Dawn, I lost audio on you. One thing that's been increasingly important is the last thing I got.
To jump in. Did you have a?
Okay, I was not hearing your audio until just now. After you said it's becoming increasingly important, I lost audio on you, and I did get a message in the chat. Someone else had lost the audio.
Okay.
Are we back?
Now?
You sound good.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. Anyway, just talking about social media, the online and presence and how important that is. And Kristen, by the way, if that happens again, let me know immediately, okay? Because I don't know why it's doing that. If it is.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So anyway, the first thing that we're going to talk about is your business idea. And if you know that, you'll see that there are some bullet points here that relate to the idea. And the first one says it's unique and original. Because of the fact that you're interested in something and you just want to have a company or have a business, that's really not enough, because you can't just do more of what people are already doing. So you have to have a unique and original idea. And it can be, there are several different ways you can do that, and we'll talk about that as we go along. Secondly, it's got to fulfill a need or a problem. Now, probably one of the biggest SEOs, search engine optimizers out there, of course, is Google. And they, of course, what they do is they answer questions. So what that means is someone gets on their Google and says, I have this problem. I need a plumber near me, and I live in X area. So it will bring up all the potential people that do that. And of course, so we'll talk more about social media later and how that, you need to arrange your websites so that you'll get clicks on like Google and Yelp and others. But you have to fulfill a need or solve a problem. What are you going to do that's going to be what the public is looking for? Also, you need to understand, what motivates you to start your own business. Now, basically, the number one reason why people are motivated to start their own business is that they're dissatisfied with corporate life. They just aren't a corporation kind of person. They feel they have skills that they've learned there, but they think they can do it better on their own, and they want to be their own boss. So that's by far and away the number one reason. Number two is they're fulfilling a dream to open their own business. It's just something they've always wanted to do. It's not that they're unhappy working for someone else, but they just want to, they want to do that. They feel they have something to offer. And then the third is that they're laid off and see this is the next step. And they go, well, I'm tired of doing this thing. I had this job for a couple of years, went through an economic downturn, got another job, same thing happened. So the number three reason is people are saying, this is the next step. I've had, all this that I want to put up with for a while. So those are the main reasons, but whatever, you must be passionate about it. And what is your commitment level? Because it takes a huge commitment level to be able to do that. You have to be able to define your why. What is the purpose of your business? And so the why commitment, you've got to be honest with yourself. And so there are a number of things. We do a webinar at SCORE on the essential steps to starting a business. And the first slide that we put down there is, what is your commitment level? And you have to rate yourself, and you need to be honest, because to be successful, you have to be a self-starter, you have to be competitive, you have to have willpower and self-discipline, because you don't have anyone other than yourself responsible for your business. Can you make decisions? That's important. Are you a good planner? Because planning is important, it's critical. Do you manage finances well? One of the first things you're going to look at is what is your personal credit history? Do you have a lot of credit card debit or credit or debit card debt? Do you manage your finances well? And then you need to look at, are you physically and emotionally strong? Do you have, and to me, the most important one here is you to have a strong, supportive family network, because of the fact that it is going to take a lot of sacrifice on your part to do that. And last but not least is do you interact well with other people? Now, if you have something that the public needs and, you're not particularly personable, but the product sells itself, then okay, you probably can get away with that. But for most businesses, you need to make sure you're doing that. Now, we're going to send you this document. I'm going through the document point by point, but we're going to send you this document after the webinar. And on this, you'll see that there are references to some, on this one, it's a TED Talk. And so I highly recommend that you take time to do these. Some of you may already be aware of the Golden Circle. And again, this does a really good job of what you do, how you do it, and why you do it. And it's on, I said, a TED Talk, and the link is on, as you can see, is the last bullet point under idea. And if you can think about it, if you can visualize a target, say that's like a target for archery or whatever, and you're going to have 3 circles. The outside circle is what? In other words, most companies know what they're doing. In other words, this is our business. This is what we do. The second circle inside that is how. And we know how we do that, but we go through step 8. This is how we do our business. And most businesses do a pretty good job of that. But the inner circle, the bullseye, is why. And a lot of companies don't really answer the why very well. Why are we doing it? What's our reason for doing it? And that's your idea. What do we give that's unique that we can present? So it's very important that you're able to answer that why question. What is your purpose? And not only for you, but every employee that works for you. So I'd highly recommend that you take the time when you have an opportunity and access that TED Talk on YouTube. Okay, I'm going to move down to the next point, which is your target market. A lot of times people fail because they really haven't done the necessary research on their, on their business. And there's a number of ways. I know when I, finish my bullet points, Kristen's got a few as well that the library provides. But you really need to research your business. You need to know first of all, is there a market for your business? Is it something that you're just interested in, or can you do that? Now, one thing Google has, Google is a free tool, and they also have Google Trends. I don't know if anyone you're familiar with that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But Google Trends can go in, and you can input any question you have about a particular business or interest or trend, and it will tell you what's going on. Is it growing? Is it diminishing? So if you're thinking about a business, Google Trends is a really good source to do that. You need to clearly understand your target market and its potential customers. What is your age group, gender, activities? Now, a lot of people say, well, I want to, appeal to everybody, but realistically, that's not the case. The sweet spot for a lot of people, a lot of companies is like 18 to 49, years old, gender, is depending on the product. And another reason that's important is because you're going to target your advertising to that group. And social media, is very segmented based on age groups and interests and so forth. So you want to make sure that you're appealing to the group that is your largest target market for potential customers. Also, you need to identify your competitors. And here you really need to be honest with yourself and really determine who are your competitors. Are you doing, unless you've got something that's totally unique that no one else is doing, you really need to determine where are the people that are buying this product? Where are they buying it? And what do they have? What strengths do they have? And what weaknesses do they have that you can turn into opportunities? What can you provide that they are not providing, or you can provide better than they are providing? And that's important. And then what is your competitive differentiation or value proposition, and what makes your product or service unique or different from competitors? And it really could be a couple different things. And just, let me give you a couple of examples. And I'll give you examples of people that I'm currently working with. One is a unique brand. A unique brand is I'm currently working with a former basketball player who has developed his own clothing line. And so he is rolling that out, and he's unique because his clothing brand, which is called Still, is unique in that if you want to buy that line, if you're a fan of his, if you followed him when he was in the NBA, then that's the only place you can buy it. So it's unique. Also, another thing is, are you going to provide a service in an underserved area? Another person that I'm working with provides uniforms for first responders and is in a community south of Dallas. Right now, first responders have to go and travel an hour to an hour and a half to go buy uniforms. She opened an office or a store in addition to an online service. And a lot of times people don't want to buy that online because they have to go with the fit because they wear the vests underneath their uniforms and so on. So they want to go try those on and test those. And so she's providing a service that's available somewhere else, but it's underserved in the area where she is. Or number three, do they have a need? Can they fill a need that right now the whatever that business is not providing enough selection? And I'll give you an example there. I'm working with a young lady who has put out an online full figure clothing line because she felt that when she was looking for full figured, whether it be clothing or lingerie, that there just weren't enough choices out there. And when the ones that were unexciting, were drab. So she says, celebrate yourself. And she has come out with a line and she's becoming very successful. So unique brand, underserved area, or something new. If you can do one of those three things, then you have an above average ability to be successful. And then the last thing that I said before is take advantage of the Google Trends tool to research what your potential customers are looking for. And I already sort of mentioned that. That's a really good free tool because it shows what's going on in the business you're interested in. What are the new trends? What's diminishing? And like I said, it's free and it gives you a lot of really good information. So I think, Kristen, you have a few things on target market as well, right?
Yes, thanks, Don. So we're also going to be letting you know throughout this presentation of some of the free resources that are available through your public library as well. If you are a resident of Plano, Allen, Frisco, Garland, McKinney, Richardson, The Colony, or Wiley, you can get a Plano library card at no cost. You can go online and register today. I put the link to our website in the chat a little while ago. One of the tools that we have that supports this particular area of research is a database called Reference Solutions. And it is a very strong and well maintained database of business and local data. So you can go into this and research, like for competitive analysis or marketing, demographics. Even it could help you locate a specific spot to build, if you're going to have a bricks and mortar business, where you might say, if you're looking to put together, we would use this example, a donut shop, you could find out where the other donut shops are so that you don't put one, a block down from an already successful business. So that Reference Solutions is a great tool for you. It is available at no cost with a library card to use it. And we have a class actually about how to use the Reference Solutions tool coming up on June the 1st. That is a free open webinar that's like this, where you register and it will be available on Zoom, and a librarian will walk you through that tool and how you can use it to find the information that you need. That's all I have to share on this one, and I'll give you some more information as we go along.
Okay, so the next point, we talked about the idea and so forth, and target market. And the third thing, and this is extremely important, is your business plan. If you're self-funding and you're starting your business up, it's not maybe critically important immediately, but you do have to account for your cash flow. So if you're saying, the most businesses that fail, the main reason they fail is the inability to maintain enough cash. So business plan, we talked about some of the different aspects of your target marketing and your research and so forth. And so what you need to do is you need to put these on your business plan. Now, one of the main things that we do at SCORE mentoring, and at the end, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, how you, if you want to SCORE mentor, how to do that. But one of the main things that we do is we work with people on, creating a business plan. And we do more of that than almost anything else because it's critically important to do that. So the first bullet point said, write a one-page business plan summary, including the key elements we talked about, the description of your products, services, target market, competition, marketing, investment sources, and financial projections. Now, we have a template that we have at SCORE. And if you go online to dallas.score.org, and I'm going to mention that again at the end, or sba.gov, Small Business Administration, there are business plan templates there. Plus the library also has some resources to talk about business plans, which Kristen will talk about. But it's really important that you get one and start working on it because it takes, a business plan is a living, breathing document. It's not something that you fill out one time and throw it in a drawer. You are constantly updating it because you're changing based on what competition does and so forth. But the key is that if you, at some point, as your business grows, if you want to raise money for your business, no one is going to talk to you unless you have a completed business plan that, that they can take a look at and show that they're confident that you'll be able to pay back the loan. And then a couple other points. How will you sell your product or service? Your pricing, that's important. You need to look like what is it costing you if you're buying from a manufacturer and you're the wholesaler and then you're going to sell through retail. What is your cost? What are competitors charging? So what is your margin? And you need to identify all the components of your costs. And a lot of times people don't take costs into account and they think about just, the major ones. You need to put down every single expense. And there's a page on the business plan that allows you to fill all that in. Every expected cost, expense, and then whatever your expected profit margins based on what you're going to be able to sell and your actual landed costs, which we call COGS or cost of goods sold, so that you can come up with a reasonable projection. It says perform a SWOT analysis. That means identify your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And that's just a table where you write those in. And that's really for you to say, what opportunities are out there and what things do I need to work on. Now, here's the other thing, the next thing, and this is critically important. As I said, most businesses that fail because they can't generate enough cash. Carefully determine the required investment to launch your products, services, and assess the potential sources of your investment. And I'll give you, a few ideas. 62% of businesses starting up are funded by what we call bootstrapping, which is your own money that you've saved, plus monies from friends or family. But be careful with that with friends or family unless they clearly understand what piece of the business they're going to own, or is just simply a loan you're going to pay back at some point. But that's 62%. So the majority of businesses do not start up getting a loan because loans are not real easy to get. Now, 27% of businesses are from, funds come from lenders. I said 62% is by bootstrapping, yourself, friends, family. 27% comes from lenders or banks. Now, regional banks have money set aside for small business. And of course, now we've got some things through the government, which you can talk either through sba.gov or through SCORE. We can let you know about those. If you have a completed business plan, you can take a look at that. There may be some opportunity for money there. There's also micro lenders, which micro lenders are online vendors. A couple of the big ones are Axion and Lyft. And they're loans that are easier to get, but they're normally for $50,000 or less. And they have higher interest rates for the most part than banks. They average an 8% interest rate, where banks are probably a little around half of that. And then the last thing is equity investors, and they call them angel investors. That's where you see Shark Tank or Oprah has one and Spanx has one, where you go and you present your plan and you've got some new technology or you're fulfilling something that has not been well fulfilled as of the present point. But that's only 10% of funding. Those you see a lot on TV and you hear a lot about, but those are very competitive when you do that. So anyway, so on your business plan, you need to make sure that you've totally analyzed all of that and that you're ready to go. You've looked at your opportunities and your threats, and you need to make sure you have enough funding to support yourself and the business operations for several months with no profits. Some people have enough to just get started, but you have to realize there's going to be some period of time where you're going to have negative cash flow, and you have to be able to survive that before you start generating a profitability, and you need to work that into your plan. So Kristen, I think you have a few things on business plan as well.
I do. So another tool that is available to you with the Plano Library Card is a database called the Small Business Reference Center. And it has a number of just many different tools and resources for you. So that is something. There are some sample business plans, quite a number of sample business plans in this database. I have not fully explored it. To be honest, I was looking today for a template, and I'm not sure if there is a blank template. I'm going to continue searching, but I know there are good sample business plans to give you an idea from a variety of different industries. So that can help you with some wording or some thoughts. Also, just from the perspective of keeping track of investments and finances, if you would like to use Excel for your financial components, just for putting together your business or for tracking your expenses and your income, we have several classes on using Excel and also even using Excel to build a budget. Also, there is a business coach that volunteers with us and has done a class that is on our YouTube channel, the recording of it, called From Turn Busy into Productive. And so just in terms of helping you to manage your time and make a good plan to get all of these activities done, that could be a very helpful resource for you as well. I'm only relating things that directly relate to where Dawn is on this, so I'll come back to you with some more things in a bit.
And a great point on webinars. SCORE also offers webinars, dallas.score.org. If you go on there, it shows a list of upcoming webinars, and we do them on a lot of different topics, but business plan is one that we probably do 2 or 3 times a month that go into more detail about all the things that we've just been talking about.
And actually, Dawn, you're doing a program with us and the library on May the 15th on Business Plan 101. So how to start a business plan. So we're doing that here through Zoom again on May the 15th, and we'll have that also listed at the end.
Okay, great. So moving on, company name, again, a lot of people want to be creative. And it says here, on the first bullet point, unique and unforgettable, but it needs to be unforgettable to the people that are going to use it. I mean, there's some people that maybe a word or, a particular thing is meaningful to them. But unless it's going to be meaningful to your customer, you need to have something that, will resonate with them. Avoid unusual spellings. There's a company right now called Rhythm, and they even on their ads, they talk about that they're hard to spell. So for the most part, they're spending a lot of dollars to let people know that. But if you don't want to spend a lot of dollars, then you need to have something that if you get Googled, is going to come up, and if they plug in your name, that they're going to find it. So avoid unusual spellings, ones that are easy to pronounce and remember. Keep it short. The longer it is, the harder it is to remember. And then what you want to do, if you have a name that you've picked out, what you want to do is, talk to some of your friends. If you're already on social media, if you've sort of been running your business on social media and just doing things through word of mouth, go to your social media posts and say, I'm getting ready to go online. here's the name I'm considering. What do you think? Let me know. Get some feedback because those are your potential customers and they can lead you in the right direction. Another thing too is it says here trademark your brand name. You may or may not need to do that right away. There's some difference of opinion on that. One thing you do need to do though is before you finalize your brand name is you need to go to the trademark office, and the trademark website is uspto.gov. uspto.gov. They have a search function where you can go in there, plug in the name that you want to use, and they will tell you if anybody else is currently using it. And then that way you'll know that it's clear. Now, if you go to do an online thing, we'll talk about that in a minute. There are some other things that you go through at that time. And then also you need to create a logo, particularly if you're going to be on online or bricks and mortar, that you can put along with your name. So you can either do that. There's a lot of people out there you can hire to do it. Or if you're either creative artistically yourself or have a friend or family member that has that ability, then you can do that. But you need to have your logo, your name, and then whatever your tagline, slogan, message is going to be. So you need to develop that so that when people see your name or your brand, they know what it stands for. Okay, Kristen, did you have anything on company name?
Yes, we do have a class on creating a logo using some of the Adobe Creative Suite products. So just wanted you to know about that. And we do have a logo. Let's see. I thought I had a logo design program coming up, but I know I have one on, let me see, I'm looking. No, we have one that's been recorded, and I believe I have one coming up, but I just don't have the date listed here. So apologize for that. We do have a class about creating a logo.
Okay. So here's the next thing. This is really important, and this is another reason why, unless you're very knowledgeable about business yourself, you need to get a resource. And you can research it yourself through the SBA, through SCORE, through the libraries, or you can use a SCORE mentor. But this is what you need to do legally before you start your own business. And you can see there's a lot of different options depending on what your business is. So that's why we always recommend that you talk to somebody to see what makes the most sense. Now, to be honest with you, all you really need to do business is to have what's called a DBA, which means doing business as. So you go to your local city, county site, and you just fill out a form to be a DBA. And at that time, as far as they're concerned, you can go ahead and open a business. Now, at some point as you grow, you're going to want to do something a little bit differently. You can do a sole proprietorship, which means that you are the only one in the business. You can do what's called an LLC, or a limited liability company. And again, a lot of people think right away they have to jump to an LLC. That is not always the case. Now, if you want an LLC, it's a $300 expense to go to the Secretary of State, get an LLC. And then if you have an agent do it for you, it's about a $500 expense. Now, the reason you would have an agent would be because that individual is going to handle all of the mailings and things that come up. You have to give an address for your business. And if you don't want that coming to your home address and you're doing a home business, you can get an agent who will do that for you for about a couple $100 a year. So that's your call depending on what you want to do. You can use something like a UPS store, a box at a UPS store that has a street address. So that's to let you know that. But anyway, limited liability, you can do an S corporation, and again, whatever you do, if you do a limited liability company, you're going to do what they call an articles of formation. And if you have partners, you'll need to develop the operating agreement. And it has here, this is a really important, I've worked with a lot of people over the years who have been really quick to take in a partner because they needed the money and then later regretted it. So you just need to make sure any partnerships you have, whether it be family or not family, you need to make sure that's clearly laid out in your formation articles because it could lock important future decisions, as it says here. So important that you understand. If you got the money yourself, great. If you don't and you're raising funds, you realize there's going to be a cost associated with doing that. I said register your business with the state, county, and city. Again, that's getting your DBA. The next bullet point here, get an employer identification number. That's an EIN and a sales tax permit. EIN is nothing more than a social security number for your business. And that's it. So that way, when you're doing your tax filings and so forth, you'll use that identification number. If you end up opening more than one business, you can still use the same EIN. And then if you are going to buy something from a manufacturer for a resale or a wholesaler, then you can get a reseller certificate through the comptroller's office, the Dallas or the Texas comptroller's office. And what that does, it enables you to buy from the wholesaler or the manufacturer without paying tax, because you are going to be charging the customer tax when you sell them the item. So those are all things. But again, I'm just doing a real 10,000 foot level. When you get into this, you really need to, unless, like I said, unless you have an attorney or someone, or you're an attorney or you know someone, you definitely need to make sure that you use some kind of mentor to make sure that you enter in the right type of an agreement. And then the other thing too is open a business bank account, because you don't want to commingle it with your personal funds. So always, so that should be in the name of your business and your LLC. And also very important, based on your business type, ensure you have the proper liability insurance coverage. I just helped a young lady open a salon, a hair care salon. Very important there, because anytime you're dealing with personal care, you run that risk. So Kristen, go ahead.
Sure. So the Small Business Reference Center does have some useful materials for some of these items. And also we have a database that is Gale Legal Forms, which would have like a sample operating agreement for partners, that sort of thing. Also, one of our classes that is available, the recording is available on our YouTube channel, is starting an online business. So if you happen to be looking into an online business, it covers some of these steps too, about how you can look up the names and some of the forms that need to be filled out and that kind of thing.
Okay. So moving along, the next thing is online presence. And this is really important. If you're working with someone like GoDaddy or Wix or something of that nature, they'll give you a lot of the details as far as what you need to do. They will double check and say, when you get your domain name matching your business name, they'll take a look at it, and they'll also look at your extension. Sometimes the .com may be covered, but you can do a .net. Also, you can put in whatever matches your business activity. It says here salon, restaurant, so forth. And then whether you do this working through, SCORE does a lot of webinars on this topic. There are a lot of YouTube webinars that are done by the entities themselves. Google does a lot. They do that for Google, for their YouTube channel, Instagram. Everyone has tutorials that you can go in and learn about how to do this. But the one thing that's really important is that you have to develop your website that's optimized for search engines, which means when people go in to ask a question, they want to know, what's the response? What can I do to take care of the problem? And on the YouTube channel, they gave a really good example. There was a company, and they listed themselves, they had in their keywords that they're IT technicians, information technology technicians. They weren't getting any hits. So they went in and they changed their keywords to I hate my computer. And they immediately started getting hits, because a lot of people get frustrated with their computer. They go online and they go, what need do you have? And so what you need to do is match your keywords with what you think when people go online for your service or your product, that they're going to ask the question, where do I find whatever it is near me, or whatever the case might be? That way you'll get hits. So it's very important the way you develop that and the way you write your summary paragraphs is critical. Also, as I mentioned before, that you have to select the social media outlets that make sense for your business. What outlets are used by your target customers? What sites? Younger kids are using TikTok now. Maybe Facebook, not so much. So you really need to know what is your target audience, and what are the social media platforms that they're on constantly, and that's where you want to be as well. And you also want to be consistent in all your company brand messages across the website and all your social media platforms. For example, to use YouTube again, you want to be in there, and it gives you an opportunity to not only have a video to talk about your business, but also you can do along the bottom, you can just put specific services or products you sell, and then you can send that consistent message to Facebook, to Google My Business, to whatever the case might be. But if you are social media savvy, you may not need this help. But if you're not social media savvy, you need to visit, on these webinars. You need to get a mentor because there's a lot of detail, and you can end up spinning your wheels and having a website and not getting any hits if you don't do it correctly. Kristen?
Yes. So one of the benefits of having a Plano library card which is free. So I'm not trying to sell anything, it's free, is that you have free access to LinkedIn Learning. This is a subscription service, but when you have a library card, it is free to you. One of the classes that is available, there are many that would be very useful on entrepreneurship and starting up a business and every different aspect of business. But they have an SEO class, a search engine optimization class. So this is available online at no cost with your library card. That is through LinkedIn Learning. The library has also presented programs on social media and use of that, of those platforms, and also product photography, which might be something to use on a website if you're selling items that need to be seen by your clients. So those are a couple of more options that are library resources. Oh, also, we have a program that we've done called Get Your Business on Google Search and Maps. And the recording of that program is also on our YouTube channel. I'm sure we'll be having that class again this summer, but I don't think it's on the schedule yet to give you a date. But that is also available to help you maximize your visibility.
Great. Okay, so the last thing that we talk when we're covering all the important details is having what we call a virtual team. And this is really what you need to do to make sure as you're finalizing your details, what you need to do is have a CPA. You need to have a CPA or an accountant that you can at least run by one time that will help you with your taxes. Now, we do have webinars on QuickBooks. QuickBooks we recommend as a really good accounting software package. It does everything for you. You keep track of all your expenses, what you are, what you're laying out in expenses, what you're realizing in terms of revenue. It prepares everything for taxes. So we highly recommend that you have, if not QuickBooks, some type of accounting system. Don't try to run your business off a couple of Excel spreadsheets because it'll get very difficult as you grow. But you do need a CPA or an accountant that you can maybe only use them once a year, but just to make sure you're on the right path. Same thing with a lawyer. Before you finalize any agreements, any partnerships, whatever the case might be, you can use an online like LegalZoom, or if you know an attorney or you have one in the family, you want to make sure you run those by a lawyer to make sure that you're not making a mistake. An insurance broker we talked about, to make sure you have the proper insurance coverage and insurance options that is right for your business. And we talked about a banker, have a business bank account. And, at some point, you may need to get a line of credit. So if you have a business bank account, then you're going to be most likely to go to that bank first to either get a line of credit if you need that, to like if you're running a business that you need to go secure money to buy inventory. short term. The only thing there with lines of credit and credit cards is you need to make sure you pay those off at least once a year so that you can get it resumed for the following year. You want to be neutral. You don't want to run an ongoing balance continually. You want to pay it off and then go get your extend your line of credit again. Then the last thing is your SCORE mentors. And like I said, I'm a SCORE mentor. I get a lot of people that are doing retail, wholesale, or franchise, but we have people that specialize in every single kind of business, nonprofits, whatever business you're in. We have a SCORE mentor. We have about 80 of us in the area here that can do pretty much any discipline or any business that anyone wants to start up. So how do you get a mentor? What you do is you go to dallas.score.org, and when it comes up, it'll say place where request a mentor. What you do is you plug in keywords, and once you've done that, it'll bring up all of the mentors who specialize in that area. So I would highly recommend that you use SCORE. Like I said, it is free, and we do it just because we enjoy doing it and helping people. And so I would highly recommend that. So Kristen, I'm going to stop my share here and give it back to you. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Don. And we will take questions for Don. Anytime that you have them, you're welcome to put them in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and give you just a little overview of a few more tools that you can gather from you can use through the library. And then we will answer any questions that you have, and you can move on with your day. So Plano Public Library is more than books. There certainly are books that you can check out or use for your business planning and different elements of your business, learning things and creating a business plan and all that. But we do have other tools for you as well. LinkedIn Learning is one of those that I mentioned. It is typically a paid service, but with your library card, it's part of what the library pays for. Some of the classes that are available there in LinkedIn Learning include getting started as a business, profitability, making your business profitable. I mentioned search engine optimization, marketing, finance, cybersecurity, tons more. And I've listed some of the things here as well. Many of the classes in LinkedIn Learning relate to technology, databases, web design, all of these things, and also digital creativity, graphics, audio and music, animation. So there are many options. Also, the great courses are a wonderful set of online courses. These are available free with your library card through Canopy, which is our video streaming service. Some of the examples of courses on Canopy that could help you: the art of public speaking. You may need to be presenting your idea to a group for financial support or to an individual for financial support. Critical business skills for success is another course. And when I say course, it's a set of videos. So there's all different sessions within the course. So some of them might be 10 or 15 sessions. Some of them may be 25. So and you can just take one course at a time, whatever, or one session at a time. You don't have to take the entire course. Just one video is all you have to download or view streaming through Canopy. Also, money management skills and the Creative Thinkers Toolkit. Those are just some of the courses you might want to consider. We also offer career development programs and small business programs on Zoom, like the one that we're doing today, and a couple more that I'll show you in a moment that are coming up. Additional resources available through the library. I mentioned Reference Solutions, the Small Business Reference Center, and business forms templates. Through the legal forms, there are a number of things that you could access that might save you a little time with an attorney. I would certainly recommend that you have an attorney review things before you set out with them, but perhaps there are cases where you could outline, what you think might be acceptable based on some templates that you could find in this database, and then have your attorney look at it, which might save some time and money there. SCORE Mentor, we have Don here with us today, and obviously SCORE has many others. We would highly recommend that you visit with and work with a SCORE mentor, that they are wonderful, knowledgeable volunteers that can help you to go in the right direction and prepare for your business. We have a program at the library called Book a Librarian, where if you need help, say, accessing LinkedIn Learning or using the Small Business Reference Center, you can book an appointment for one-on-one help for 30 minutes. Those have been done virtually recently. I'm not sure if they have opened up in person, honestly, because we're right at the point of opening some of our services back to in person, but you can certainly do that online. We also offer you access to the New York Times, the Dallas Morning News, and numerous other newspapers from around the world that are available. New York Times is separate, but Dallas Morning News and the other newspapers are through Press Reader, which is a service on our website. You do need a library card for any of these digital newspapers. E-books and e-magazines are available, numerous sorts of options there, and books on leadership. So you can also learn from watching successful people and learning about their perspectives, and even sometimes their mistakes and how that can help you going forward. As you are likely to have family members, friends, others that you enjoy spending time with, we want to just show you a brief view that we have art and creativity classes. We also provide language learning materials, including an app called Pronunciator that you can download on your phone and learn a wide variety of languages, starting from whatever language is your primary language. Also, family engagement activities that we do throughout the year. We'd love to have you participate in those. Some of our upcoming classes that relate to small business include the fundamentals of Microsoft different softwares, including Teams, which is coming up on May 7th, and LinkedIn, which we have classes for the next 2 weeks on LinkedIn. The first one tomorrow is Build Your Brand, and the one the following week will be a deeper dive into really maximizing your use of your LinkedIn profile. So we have a couple of things tomorrow: the product photography program and building your brand with LinkedIn. April 30th, design a website. All of these programs are free. You can register. If you look on our website at the very bottom, there's a calendar. You click on whatever program you're interested in, and it will link you to more information, and then also a link to register. They are all free of charge, but registration is required in advance. You can watch recorded previous programs on our YouTube channel. As you can see, the Building Your Business with Reference Solutions is coming up June 1st, and that will be an important one for that tool on research. And of course, Don is presenting this Business Plan 101 on May 15th, which will be a great deeper dive into a business plan and creating that. Just some of the examples of programs that we have on our YouTube channel include the ones that are listed here: Overcoming Procrastination, Business Success, 5 Habits to Embrace. I mentioned the Get Your Business on Google Search and Maps. And also Grow Your Business with Adobe. We have a series that relates to business cards and letterhead and logos and more. Creating a store in a digital marketplace, Adobe Photoshop Basics, Simple Budgets in Excel. So there's a lot that we have available at the library. We'd be happy to answer your questions. And thank you so much for being with us today. Donna, it looks like there's at least one in the chat. Have you looked at that?
Yes, I see one in there where there was a request for a template. SCORE, as Kristen mentioned, there's numerous ones online, but we have one on SCORE. Again, I see in the chat that Kristen put in there, dallas.score.org. You can go in there. If you go to dallas.score.org and you plug in, on the search bar, if you put in business plan template, it will bring that up, and it's a very extensive. It's about a 36-page business plan that really goes from A to Z, almost anything. And the 101 business plan seminar or webinar that we're doing on the 15th sort of goes through that section by section. So you may want to, visit that, be on that one as well. If you really need help. But again, I highly recommend that, when you really are serious about getting a business plan, get a mentor who can help you do it, unless you're very adverse to doing that yourself. And just to close out, go ahead.
The other question
Yes.
is regarding a SCORE mentorship. What are some of the things that mentors help business owners with? One of our participants says that they feel like it would be beneficial for them, but they don't have a lot of questions. But maybe that's because they don't know what questions they should be asking.
Right.
So they're asking what kinds of things would you typically help?
Well, like I said, the number one thing that we do is we help them create a business plan because a lot of people, they know what they want to do. They've done some research. Some have not, but the ones that have done the necessary research, then they have an idea, they've sourced their product, or if it's a product or service, it's different, but they'll take a look at that, but they have trouble projecting sales, like for the first year. What's that going to look like? What are all the pre-opening expenses? I work a lot with retailers on bricks and mortar. I actually help them when they're negotiating, with the landlord, where they're going in, where they're going to open up, or if they're considering multiple, or do I want to do Wix? Do I want to do Shopify? Do I want to, have my own? Do I want to do GoDaddy? We can provide some insight there, as well as, best ways to approach social media. So we can do a lot of different things depending on what you need, and depending on what you need. That, like, we have people that do nonprofits. They can get with you on how do you get a grant. Like a lot of people think if they're a nonprofit, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And, that people are going to just throw money at me. It doesn't work that way, because even if to get a grant, if you're a nonprofit, you still have to have a viable business and a business plan. So there's just a lot of, depending on what you want to do and how you want to go about it, we can help in a lot of different ways. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Don. And there's one more who is asking, this company is a B2B custom software development. The questioner has a rough sketch of the business plan and some projects coming in. What keywords do you recommend for finding a mentor for that type of business and stage?
Well, certainly, anyone can definitely help with with the business plan and what should be on there. But I would use, business to business, and then whatever, software, as many descriptors as possible on that. So if it's a software business and it's a B2B, then I would put those in the search bar and do that. Now, when you go to dallas.score.org, it also has a phone number. So if you go on there and you can't find a profile of someone who has that skill, then you can call that phone number, and we have a person that is on that line that will answer that phone, and then you can describe to them what your needs are, and then they will help you and assist you get you connected with the right support. So you can do it yourself, or you can call the phone number and get some help.
Wonderful. I would like to say thank you very much to Don Walter, who has been a fabulous connection with us. We've enjoyed working together for over a year now. Very happy to have this relationship. Don is a wealth of information, and I'm so glad you could be with us today, Don. Thank you.
Kristen,
and thank you to all of our participants for being with us too. We're glad that you're looking into business, and hope we can help further.
Great. Thanks, Kristen, and thanks to all of you.